Watching that live. Ronda Rousey, the first and only UFC women's bantamweight champion, held the title since 2012. Last defeated Kat Zingano, we just saw that, by armbar in 14 seconds. 14 seconds.
Yeah.
What can people do great in 14 seconds? We welcome Ronda Rousey to the desk. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It seriously is an honor, and I told Stephen at the top of the show, if they got a line, armbar, 1 and 2.
So you ain't got to worry about that with me. You got to worry about
that. Armbar for free, don't worry, I'm very expensive.
I'm wondering, for 14 seconds, I didn't know what Zingano was thinking by coming out charging you that way. I guess that was the only strategy that she could employ. I mean, were you shocked did you blink for 1 second like, what does this girl think she's doing?
No, actually, I thought it could have been a possibility because, I mean, if it was anybody else, it would have worked. Anybody else either would have been hit with that knee or they would have been taken down. And how could she have predicted I would have done a backward cartwheel off my head? I mean, you can't really predict that, and I really noticed that a lot of people kept telling her that she was a slow starter, and so you would expect her to come out slow, and no one has ever come up and gotten in my face right away. And so she did a very intelligent thing, trying to surprise me right off the bat, and I thought maybe that was actually a possibility that she could come out and do that. So I originally was thinking, like, okay, I might check left hook if she comes in straight right away, and she came in so fast that I wasn't even able to hit her, but I moved left fast enough for her knee to miss, and everything else just improvising from there.
Well, so I've got to tell you, I've had a lot of shocks on the show, but the biggest shock I've ever had in the history of this show is that you picked Manny Pacquiao. Obviously, you know far more about fighting than most people do, especially that guy over there. So would you please explain to him why Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going down?
Well, it's a very, very close fight. It really is. But Manny's a friend of mine. Hey, I got to stick up for my friends.
So that's what it is?
Well, it's not just that. I really believe if Manny doesn't jump in and if he's just really relentless pressure and uses all of his speed, I think he's going to give Floyd an extremely hard time.
When you say a hard time, Ms. Ronda Rousey, what exactly is it that you mean? Are you saying that Manny Pacquiao is going to win by decision, or is it going to be a knockout, or even worse, something as quick as what you deliver, what you deliver from time to time to opponents?
Well, being an actual fighter, not just talking about it, I know.
Oh, there we go.
Talk about it. Tell him about it.
You can call it. I can call my own fights, and I'm going to be the one there. Right. And so I can't say what it's exactly going to be, but I know that he presents some very unique problems that Floyd hasn't dealt with yet.
Such as?
So, what I just said.
Oh, just
speed and just relentless. The thing is, if he doesn't jump in, if he stays planted on his feet and uses all that speed that he has, I think that is a really good strategy for him.
Is it possible?
Don't get handled, Stephen. I'm scared.
Well, listen,
I'm scared.
I got to keep my arm
over here.
Is it possible, Ronda?
Is this like the 5-year-old Stephen?
That because you are known to be aggressive as a fighter, I mean, you go after it. You look at a guy like Manny Pacquiao and his style, and you may, dare I say, maybe ignoring the defensive brilliance of a Floyd Mayweather Jr.
I'm not ignoring it at all. I know that Floyd is an extremely dangerous guy for Manny to fight, especially because he's such a great counterpuncher. That's why I said that Manny has to not jump in the entire time. If he jumps in the way that he did with Marquez, it's not going to work out. But if he keeps his feet planted but still uses his hand speed and pressure, it's going to be completely different.
So he has to exercise patience.
Exactly. It's patience but still using speed.
You think he's capable of that? I've never seen Manny Pacquiao that patient. He's usually coming at it, Ronda.
Well, I don't know.
It's a different fight.
That's why we're all going to buy it, isn't it?
Okay, so listen, I would be remiss if I didn't say that you've paved the way for women fighters. You're a trailblazer. You've made it okay and acceptable for everyone to watch. And everyone is talking about your skills, 14 seconds, obviously, armbar win opponents, but the opponents you haven't fought, rather. So let's talk about Layla Ali, Cyborg. Any of those fighters in your future?
I hope so. I mean, it would be an honor to fight Layla. She's an amazing fighter. But I know she's retired and she's really moved on with her life. If she wants to come back and try something, I would love to. With Cyborg, I would love to fight her as well. But as 24 hours after they announced out-of-competition drug tests in the UFC, she asked to be released. And I can't do anything about that. She's the one that left. She's the one that needs to get off the drugs and make the weight. And I can't do anything about that. I have the champ, I have the belt, she knows where I'm at. And someone that takes performance-enhancing drugs is the type of person that lacks belief, and it needs to have advantages that they don't deserve in order to have the kind of confidence to be able to get in there. before, she would use drugs to give herself that confidence. Now she's trying to get a weight advantage so she can have that confidence. And it's like, you know what? Just change your lifestyle, make the weight like everybody else does. We're not going to make exceptions for a fraud and a cheater, and come in and fight.
Wow.
Sounds good to me.
Now, wait, back to Layla. Would you box her?
I wish I could box. Because it's such a beautiful sport that I've really come to appreciate since I started doing MMA. In my time off, I don't even grapple at all. In between fights, all I do is box. It's my favorite thing now, yeah. But I mean, I'm very much married to the UFC at the moment, and I would love to have the opportunity to have a boxing match, a world.
So you would box her?
I would love to, but I really don't think it's possible for me. And maybe someday I would be able to have a world title boxing match, but it doesn't seem to be in the cards at all at the moment. I'm
surprised you say that, because I've always been of the belief, and I appreciate you being the fighter and me being the commentator, you informing me of such things. I was unaware. I always thought that UFC fighters, MMA fighters would never beat boxers at boxing, and boxers would never beat MMA, UFC fighters at what they do. That's what I was thinking. I had no idea that you've got folks in MMA, UFC, etc. they spend a lot of time boxing, because I see them trying to box, but I don't see them spending a lot of time. I thought a lot of times you were just doing the other stuff, but you're saying you're doing boxing most of the time.
Yeah, the vast majority of the time. I haven't put a gi on and done judo for probably like 5 or 6 years. Wow. All I've been doing is mostly striking, and when I'm in training camp, of course, I try to balance everything out. But I mean, I'm not the least bit offended by what Layla said, because People are so offended by the mindset that it takes to be the best in the world. Of course she thinks she can beat me. She wouldn't be the legend that she is if she didn't think that about herself. And I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't think that I was capable of doing such things. I think that I can do anything that I set my mind to. And if that offends you, then you should think better of yourself.
Okay, but you're saying it's not in the cards right now because what?
Because
you got too much else going on? Yeah. Okay. All right.
I just renegotiated. I have a lot of fights that I have in the UFC that before I would be able to go and do it.
Could you see it down the line?
I hope so. I think that would be amazing. I would love to.
She is obviously a much larger woman than you are. Would you fight her?
I'm not even saying specifically her. Yeah. I mean, she's retired and she has kids and she's moved on with her life. And I mean, I would think that maybe someone close to my weight that has a world title.
You're saying boxing is not out of the line for you.
I would love to try it, but I just, I have a lot going on.
Yes. Okay.
I have fights, I have 2 movies coming out, I got a book coming out, it's just, my schedule's a little full at the moment.
Let's talk about that. You said you have a fight. You have one in Brazil, UFC 190. You are fighting...
Yeah. Betch Correa.
Okay, so you've been getting a lot of slack, or UFC has anyway, for them saying there's not enough opponents that are worthy to fight you, that they need some serious competition. What do you say to that?
Well, Betch Correa is undefeated, and so I don't really see why they wouldn't think that she's competition. And it's also a very personal fight for me. She's fought a couple of my friends before, and has been extremely disrespectful to them, has rubbed the losses in their faces in my face, and has gone out of her way to disrespect me as much as possible, because it's gotten to a point where I think these girls think that if they're in an argument with me, that somehow makes them more important. And actually it kind of worked. She did get a title shot sooner than she probably would have, but keep knocking on the devil's door long enough, someone's going to answer.
I give you a lot of credit because what people would define as making it disinteresting, I don't find it at all. I mean, if you're dominant, you're dominant. I find 14-second victories disinteresting. I will admit that, because it's so quick and I want to see more of you. But that's all. But your dominance speaks for itself. I watched an interview with you, and you gave an answer that I think so many young ladies out there should hear. Somebody asked you about your dominance and why you're so confident, and you talked about how you've been doing this all your life. This is what you wanted to do, and the work that you put forth and the commitment that you show. You're always a step ahead of the competition, anybody coming your way. Speak to that. Speak to work ethic. Speak to what you believe makes you so great.
Well, I've had thousands of matches in judo, and I have a lot more competition experience. And, though you might not be very entertained by 14 seconds, I mean, in that 14 seconds, no one had ever done that throw reversal ever before in the history of the sport, and no one had ever done that particular armbar before in the history of the sport. And I never even practiced that before. I did it on the moment. I made it up off the top of my head. And a lot of fighters, they need to be able to go to that corner. They do one thing for the whole round, and they're only able to change once they get instructions. And I'm able to change as the fight goes on. And yeah, I believe it's about quality and not quantity. You know, a lot of Mike Tyson's fights were short, but they were still classics.
Right.
And you would still brag about it for decades that you saw it live.
I saw it. I saw him knock out Marvis Frazier in 22 seconds. I was mad because I actually went to get a bowl of Crunchberry and turned around and the fight was over. That's all I mean by that.
That's why we're making Reebok shirts that say "Don't blink."
Literally, that is the truth. Do not blink.
Do not
blink. Ronda Rousey. Furious 7, Entourage, such a pleasure. Good luck in your upcoming fight. Thank you. Enjoy your time on campus today. All right, you guys, after the break, we're talking about Jack Nicklaus. He's gotten honored by Congress.